Yes. I always go shopping on Saturdays. The first thing I do on Saturday is drive to the supermarket.
I sometimes go shopping on Saturdays, but usually I sleep late. I'm always so tired on Saturdays.
I'm never tired on the weekend. The weekend is a time for fun. I paint, go jogging, go out with some friends. Unfortunately, I sometimes have to study.
Oh, I sometimes do a little work at the weekend. When I'm free, I like going swimming, going to exhibitions, or to concerts, if I have enough money. Oh, and every Sunday, I clean up the entire flat. And in the evening, I watch TV.
Oh, I never watch TV. It's boring. Peter and I like going to the cinema at the weekend.
Yes, it's important not to watch too much TV. An hour a day or so, that's enough.
Come on, guys. You talk like my grandfather. Work, TV, housework on the weekends. Life is more.
I want you to take me to places where young people have fun.
Great. Get ready, Grandpa.
Hello and welcome back again to English Today, your live English language program. Now, did you notice how Anne said that she loves going to concerts and exhibitions, but she doesn't have enough money? Now, this word enough, it's written E-N-O-U-G-H. The pronunciation is enough. What does it mean? Let me show you. I have a ticket here for a concert, okay? This is 45 euro. 45 euro. Now, I have 40 euro here. 40 euro, 45 euro for the ticket. It isn't enough. It means it's less, it's not sufficient. It isn't enough. No ticket, no concert. So, happens. Like Anne, poor Anne, not enough money. Now, another example, you ask me, can I have a glass of water? And I say, sure. So, here you are. You say, what? Excuse me, it's not enough. Not enough, it's not sufficient. Oh, I say, okay, fine. So, glass of water, here we go. And you say, oh, it's too much. Too much. Now, that is the opposite. When something is in excess, it's too much. Let's go back to the ticket. For example, imagine that the theatre ticket has a discount. Now it only costs 30 euro. 30 euro. I've got 40 euro, which is too much. In excess, too much. But that's great. That's not a problem. That's great. I can go to the concert. Okay? So that's enough, too much. Now, one more word. It's a small word, and it's so. When do we use so? If I say to you, you are so intelligent, that describes an emphasis. You are so intelligent. You could also say, the glass is so full, okay? So is to express an emphasis of something. So, we've studied enough, too much, and so. Let's look at those on the screen now to help you, okay? Enough, pronunciation, enough, when something isn't sufficient. There isn't enough water in the glass. There isn't enough money. Then we can also use it with an adjective. The glass isn't full enough after an adjective. It isn't full enough. Let's move on to too when we talk about something in excess. So, there's too much water in the glass. There's too much money. Great. There are too many coins. Now, many is because we use it with countable things. There are too many coins. We can use it with an adjective. For example, the ticket is too expensive. The glass is too full. All right? Then the last thing was so, when you want to emphasize something, the ticket is so expensive. The glass is so full, or you are so intelligent. Fantastic. So that's the end of this lesson. Remember, enough, too much or too many, and so. That's it for now, and I'm going to see you again extremely soon. Take care. Bye.
Work is so hard, guys. I wake up at 6:30 every day, have breakfast, and take the train to work. Every day.
I know. I get up at 7, but I have a friend at work who usually gets up at 6.
Why? That's too early.
It takes him an hour to drive to work.
Wow, that's a long drive.
Yes. But he lives in the country. I think he's lucky. Every weekend he can go for walks in the woods, not in traffic jams.
I guess that's pretty nice. He lives in the countryside, but works in the city. A pretty nice combination.
What about you, Sharon? What time do you wake up?
I usually get up at about 9 o'clock, but I live in the city. It's easy to get to work.
Yes, but you get home very late. Often 6:30 or 7.
You know, I sometimes have 5 or 6 groups of tourists a day.
You work too much, my dear.
And you sing too much, Peter.
Hello again, and how are you? Now, from that last conversation, we learned that Sharon works too much and Peter sings too much. How about you? Do you work too much? What time do you get up in the morning? 6:45? 7 o'clock? 7:15? 7:30? Well, I'm going to describe my typical day, and I'm going to use the simple present to do that. All right? Well, first, I wake up at 6:45, but I don't get up. I listen to the radio and I listen to the news. Then after I slowly get up, that's difficult, and I take a shower. I take a shower. I get dressed, and then I go for a walk with Suki. Then we have breakfast together. She has dog biscuits, and I have toast, marmalade, and butter. Then I go to work on my scooter. Now, my boyfriend has a different day because he goes to work at 8 o'clock at night. Remember, he's a jazz musician. Now, did you notice I said he goes to work? That's because with the third person we add an S, goes. He goes to work at 8 o'clock and he comes home at 3 o'clock in the morning because he plays jazz concerts. Then he goes to bed and he gets up at lunchtime at 1 o'clock. So we meet at dinner, which is, you know, we don't have much time together, but that's life. Now that was the simple present tense, and now we're going to see that on the screen. Very, very important, this grammatical form. So, I work, you work, he, she, it works, she works, it works, we work, you work, they work. Now, very often you forget to put the S on the third person, so I have another teaching assistant who will help you to remember, Mr. Snakes. He is here to help you remember to put the S on the third person. So listen, I work at home, you work every day, he works at night, she works in an office, it works all week, we work together, you work full-time, they work at weekends. So remember, it's not difficult, the simple present in English. I work, you work, he works, she works, it works. Don't forget, Mr. Snake, don't forget the S, the third person. All right? Good. Now, listen to the next episode and try and pick out words like often, sometimes, occasionally, because we're going to study those next. All right? Go and have some fun. Bye.
Alice, I bet you don't wake up at 6 o'clock every day. Tell us something about your typical day at university.
Well, I sometimes have classes in the morning, but I usually have classes in the afternoon. On Mondays, I always attend lectures in the morning.
And where do you study?
I usually study in the library, but I sometimes study at home too, when I don't have classes in the morning.
My friend David also studies at your university. Do you remember him?
David Leary? Yes, I occasionally see him in the library and sometimes in the park.
In the park? Doing what?
He likes studying there. He takes his books, finds a nice park bench and reads there.
Not a bad idea. You can study and enjoy nature at the same time.
Yes, I like the park too. Unfortunately, I often need books that are in the library.
And what about lunch? Do you usually make sandwiches and take them with you?
Oh no, I hate cooking. I usually have lunch in the cafeteria with friends.
Oh, I do just the opposite. I usually cook lunch at home. I seldom have a quick lunch at coffee shops.
Okay, guys, stop with this boring talk. What about fun? Do any of you do anything besides working and studying? It's Friday, remember?
You're right, Jack. I'm so happy it's Friday.
Me too. It's weekend time.
Time for shopping.
Jack really knows how to provoke Anne, doesn't he? Did you notice those words? Sometimes, always, occasionally? Because we're going to study those now. And in English, they're called the frequency adverbs. And we usually use them with the simple present tense. And they describe how many times you do actions, frequency adverbs. Now, to help me introduce them, I have another teaching assistant. This is, ta-da, Mr. Dinosaur. Mr. Dinosaur is here to help you with the frequency adverbs. Dinosaur, D-I-N-O-S-A-U-R. Now, let's see at the screen how Mr. Dinosaur is going to help you. Well, look at the screen. Now, we're talking about adverbs of frequency, things which describe how often you do something, like habitual actions. Dinosaur. Look at the screen. We have D-I-N-O-S-A-U-R. Now, these letters represent a frequency adverb. Let's see if you can find them. What do you think O is when you do something a lot? Yeah, often. O is often. What about N? When you do, N is never. Good. N is never. What about A? Something that you do a lot. A is always. Good. What about S? S is sometimes. Very good, sometimes. Now, U is for usually. Usually, it's a habit. What about R? R stands for rarely. That's difficult to pronounce. Rarely. And the last one, look at the top. We've got D. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is, a bit strange this, every day. All right, so those are the main frequency adverbs. Every day, never, often, sometimes, always, usually, rarely. You notice sometimes is also the same as occasionally, and rarely, another way to say rarely is seldom. Okay, now, the important thing about Mr. Dinosaur and the frequency adverbs is where to put them in the sentence. Now, look at the examples. We put them in front of the main verb. So, I never go out. You always arrive late. He usually gets up at 7. She rarely plays tennis. It often rains in England. We sometimes watch TV. You occasionally drink wine. And the last one is different. Every day they drive to work. Usually every day we put at the beginning. But the others are always before the main verb and after the subject. Now, one problem. There is an exception to the rule, which is typical of the English language. And what is the exception? The exception is the verb to be. The verb to be is always an exception in English. Let's see how that works. Look at the example. He isn't often late. We are sometimes in a hurry. You see the position. The position of the frequency adverb is after the verb to be, not before. And that's the rule. So he isn't often late. We're sometimes in a hurry. They're never at home. And I'm always tired. So those are the frequency adverbs, very important, and we use them to describe our habitual actions. Now, in the next episode of That's Life, listen for this word, enough. Enough. It's a very strange word, because we're going to talk about that in the next lesson here in the studio. So, go and see That's Life. Bye.